My wife didn't come home. Then her text arrived, and my revenge began. She didn't come home that night. At first, I stared at the clock, 10:47 p.m., and convinced myself traffic was bad. Then, when midnight came, I told myself she was at a friend's house. But by 2:13 a.m., I stopped lying. The house felt hollow. Every sound, the refrigerator hum, the soft buzz of my phone, carved silence deeper into my chest. Her perfume still lingered in the hallway, sweet and artificial, clinging to the air like a ghost refusing to leave. Then my phone lit up. A heart. She'd never sent that before, not in years. That tiny red emoji felt like mockery. I stared at the message for a long time, my thumb hovering over the screen. I didn't reply. I didn't have to. Something inside me already knew Rhea wasn't real tonight. I looked at her pillow, the faint dent where her head usually rested, the side of the bed that was still cold. And I smiled. Not because I found peace, but because I'd found purpose. That was the night I stopped being her husband and started becoming her reckoning. The next morning, sunlight sliced through the curtains, cruel, bright, and undeserved. She walked in around 8 a.m. wearing a new shirt. Her eyes darted, once at me, once at her phone. "You're up early," she said casually, her voice too controlled, too clean. I only nodded. I didn't ask where she'd been. Instead, I made her coffee. Black, just the way she liked it. The same coffee I'd made every morning for 6 years. She smiled, faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. She looked tired, or maybe guilty. While she scrolled through her phone, I watched her reflection in the kitchen window. She wasn't scrolling, she was deleting. Her thumb moved too precisely, her breathing too shallow. Later that day, I checked her car. A receipt sat crumpled in the passenger seat. My chest didn't explode. My hands didn't shake. I just stared. It was like discovering your home had termites, invisible rot, spreading silently through everything you thought was solid. I folded the receipt neatly and slipped it into my wallet. Evidence, not emotion. That night, when she asked why I was quiet, I said I had a headache. She touched my arm gently, but her touch felt like fire. That was when I realized she didn't love me anymore. She loved the lie more than she ever loved me. I became methodical. No yelling, no confrontation, just quiet observation. I memorized her schedule, the nights she worked late, the weekends she visited her sister. I installed a small tracker in her car, one she'd never notice. I didn't even have to look at the app. I already knew where she was going. But still, when the dots moved, every Friday, to the same hotel, it cut deeper than any blade. One evening, she texted, "Going out with friends. Don't wait for dinner. Heart." The same emoji, same script. I almost admired her consistency. I sat in my car across from the hotel parking lot. Rain tapped against the windshield like a metronome for my thoughts. I watched her arrive, laughing, dressed too elegantly for a casual outing. Then, 10 minutes later, a man joined her. He opened her door. She smiled in that familiar, rehearsed way, the one she'd used on me years ago. And that was it. No rage, no heartbreak, just silence. The kind that makes even your heartbeat feel intrusive. I went home before she even came out. I didn't need to see what happened next. I already knew. That night, she kissed me when she returned. Her lips smelled of mint, not guilt, and I whispered, "I missed you." She smiled softly. I smiled too. But mine meant something different. The truth came to me wrapped in irony. Her birthday. She was in the shower, humming softly, when her phone lit up on the counter. A message. I didn't need to read more, but I did. I opened the thread. There were months of messages, photos, voice notes, promises. "You make me feel alive again. He'll never find out. You're my escape." Escape. That's what I was to her once. Now, I was her cage. She came out of the shower, towel around her hair, humming that same melody. "Can you hand me my phone?" she asked. I looked at her, then at the phone. I handed it to her, unlocked. She froze when she saw the open screen. Color drained from her face. I didn't say a word, I just watched. Her lips trembled. It's not what you think, but it was exactly what I thought. Silence filled the room like smoke. She tried to cry, but the tears looked rehearsed. I turned, walked to the window, and said quietly, "Your suitcase is in the car. You'll need it." She gasped. What do you mean?" "Check it," I said. She ran outside. The morning light hit her face as she opened the trunk. Inside was her suitcase, packed neatly with every piece of clothing she had worn to work trips, the receipts, the photos, the screenshots, and one final item, a framed photo of us from our wedding day. The glass was cracked. She stared at it, trembling. Then she turned to me, voice breaking. "Please, I can explain." I walked toward her slowly, my expression calm, my tone measured. "I don't need explanations," I said. "You already gave them to someone else." She stepped closer, desperate. "It meant nothing, I swear." I tilted my head. "Then why did you delete everything?" Her breath caught. That was when I handed her the phone, her own, and pressed play on the recording. Her voice, her laughter, her whispered lies. She dropped to her knees, and for the first time I saw the truth. She wasn't sorry, she was afraid. Afraid of losing the comfort she'd built on my trust. I leaned down, my voice steady. "I'm not angry," I said. "I'm finished." Then I walked back inside. I didn't look back. The sound of her sobbing behind me felt distant, like rain on another roof. The next morning, she was gone. Her closet stood half empty. The space beside my bed felt wider, lighter. There was no note, no apology, only silence. I made coffee, black, bitter. I sat by the window, watching sunlight spill across the empty driveway. For the first time in months, the house felt like mine again. Quiet, sincere, unpretending. I took out my phone and deleted her contact. No anger, no hesitation. People think revenge means destruction. They're wrong. True revenge is peace, the kind that comes when the liar finally faces their own reflection and sees nothing left to manipulate. She texted once, weeks later, "Can we talk?" I never replied, because I'd already said everything I needed to, by saying nothing at all. And in that silence, I found my freedom.